and gentlemen, welcome back to Opecs 2022, live from University Malaysia, Terengganu. I am Tengku Farah, the chairperson for our third plenary speaker for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all. Before we proceed, allow me to introduce our honourable speaker, Professor Dr. Suchana Chavanich from Chulalongkorn University. Her research is broadly on the study of nearshore species from tropical to polar regions. In addition, she focuses on conservation and restoration of marine ecosystem and impact of climate change and marine debris in marine ecosystem. She is famously known as Thailand's first female scientist to go diving in Antarctica and Arctic. Not forgetting, she is also the project leader of coral reef conservation under UNESCO IOC Subcommission for Western Pacific. And now, without further ado, I welcome Prof. Dr. Suchana Apple to deliver her talk entitled Marine Plastic Waste Study in Thailand, Example of Innovation and Technologies for Management. The floor is yours, Professor Apple.
Thank you very much for the introduction. You can hear me very well, right?
Yes, very clear, Prof.
Okay. First of all, I'm so honored to be here with you all today. So first, allow me to share the slide with you. Okay, can you see it now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so actually, earlier today, I did listen to several talks a little bit, and many of the talk talk about the microplastic, right? But today, I would like to share with you about the marine plastic waste. No, not just only microplastic, but the macro one, in terms of the study of this marine plastic waste in Thailand. And we give you guys an example of the innovation and technology that maybe we can use for the management of the marine plastic waste. So as we all know now that, Thailand and some Southeast Asia country, we are put into what we call the plastic gang. That is the top 10 list of the country that have a high amount of the marine plastic waste, ending up into the oceans because of mismanagement, which is not good, right? And not just only that, Thailand and also some of Southeast Asian country, we also have the same problem in terms of importing the plastic waste into the country. If you look at the graph here, and you could see that the data show that more than 27% of the plastic waste globally were imported to our region. So, well, it's kind of big issues now. But we cannot deny that now we live in a plastic age, right? If you listen to me right now, if you just look around yourself, and you could see that at least, I think it's got, at least one of the thing that you have in front of you now is made of the plastic. So, well, plastic now actually is a good thing, but we because we not really manage them very well, so that's why it's become a bad boy and make the Southeast Asia make a Southeast Asia country become a plastic gang. So, and if you look at this slide, actually 2 years ago, I think in Thailand and in Malaysia and other countries in South Asia, we did a good job in, try to manage the plastic waste. But unfortunately, when the COVID come, it just reset the clock of the plastic waste because we are so afraid of the COVID. So we ending up, use more single use of single use of plastic. So what happened is that during the COVID, 15% of consumption increased, and maybe because we stay at home more, work from home more, and then we eat more, and that's why the consumptions increase, and ending up 15% of the plastic waste from the food delivery also increased too. And this is an example to show this, just one order that I order when I work at home, just 3 person, and you can see that all container and everything is, made of the plastic. So that's why we can see the increased number of single use of plastic during the past 2 years during the COVID pandemic. And this is also just give you the number of the waste during the COVID, the third wave in that we have in Thailand last year. And well, this data show that 15% more plastic waste and 6,300 tons of garbage created daily during the COVID in Thailand, including up to 2 million face masks. Okay, but for the business, they do it quite good, right? 200% growth in food delivery business. So you can see that pros and cons. We increase more of the plastic waste, but in terms of in terms of business, they're doing quite good. 200% growth of the delivery business. But well, from the surveys in Thailand, we found that during the COVID, each food order produced at least 7 items of the plastic waste. So what it means is that when we, just push the button in the on the phone, asking for the food delivery. So it means that each time that we order, we increase about 7 items of the plastic waste. So it's quite a lot, and this is happened in Thailand in the past 2 years. And this is an example to show one of our study size is that, and I think it's, can be seen in our coastal area in Southeast Asia, is that if you go along the beach, this is example, the beach in the eastern part of Thailand, and we can see that more than 60% of the beach debris we collect were made of the plastic. Okay, compared to other components of the debris category. And well, after we after it get all those debris on the coast ending up into the ocean, you can see this picture quite a lot if you go diving. And this is also a case study in Thailand, is that all the debris end up into the ocean, and some of them, particular, the fish netting, it can cover the coral, and eventually coral die because of this debris covering. For Thailand right now, we're lucky to have Department of Marine and Coastal Resources that have been monitoring not just only the macro one, the macro marine debris, but also microplastic, both along the shoreline in the Gulf of Thailand and the Andaman Sea. Actually, they not just only the sediment, but also in the water column. And this is example of one of our study to show that the microplastic is not just covering all, the coral, also accumulate in others, reef organism. But what happened is that we can now find the microplastic in the coral polyp itself, and this show that we did a survey during the dry season and the wet season, and well, as we guess, is that during the wet season we can find more microplastic inside of the coral polyps. So from the previous study and earlier talk today that you probably already listened to, is that the impact of those microplastic and also macroplastic, it can have both physical effects and biological effects. And now actually we more also interested in the biological effects, because we're not sure now that, well, if the animal and also human like us consume those microplastic, what would be what would be happens. But then recently, I think if some of you are following and read that article, they already found that now the microplastic can be found in our blood system. So, well, that is quite dangerous, because if the microplastic can be found in the blood system, what it means that it can be able to, clog our blood circulation, and definitely, it can lead to the fatalities. So you can see that right now the microplastic that we got from the food that we eat, okay, it can contaminate not just only the blood, but also it can stick in, your stomach tissues and several organs in our bodies. So, talking about the awareness, and I think in Southeast Asia we are doing quite very good in terms of creating the awareness to stop the waste, because we cannot deny that the plastic is so useful, and we cannot make plastic. I mean, not using the plastic at all cannot make the plastic waste become zero, because all those medical stuff, and others health stuff, we still need those plastic components. But the best way to do is to try to create more awareness, so that we can, be able to use the microplastic in a minimized way, and also have a good management at the same time. Now, today, as I mentioned earlier, I would like to share a couple of the projects that we have right now in Thailand, that use the technologies to help to monitoring the microplastic and also the macroplastic, and we hope that these technologies will help for a better management. The first projects that I would like to share with you is the projects that we have support from the JICA Satra projects, that is a group of the scientists in Japan University together with a group of the scientists in Thailand that work together. And you could see that, more than 10 university that both from Thailand and Japan, we gonna work on this project together in collaborating with the pollution control department and the Department of Coastal Resources of Thailand, and with the SEPDEX and with the IOC Westpac. So what we try to do in Thailand is that, well, all the total 6 research area will be covered: both biology work, chemistry work, physical works, monitoring microplastic waste, by having waste flow analysis to calculate that in general in one particular area. So how about waste flow analysis? What waste flow analysis be look like, so that we can do a better management. We will use the drones to help to monitoring the waste in along the coastline. And last but not least, this project, definitely whatever the scientists do, we have to have those community engagement, so that the local people know what we're doing, and they can be able to practice, and hopefully all those results will send to the policy maker. So talking about the drone, this is also an example of we can use the technologies to help to manage the marine debris along the coast. So what happens is that we will use these drones to fly along the coastline and use the camera so that the camera will be able to estimate the plastic waste flow on the coastline, and then we will have a more accuracy in terms of what amounts of the marine debris that we found along the coastline, because definitely all those the waste debris waste will be end up into the oceans. So having a drone survey, hopefully we will get more accuracy in terms of the number of the marine plastic waste along the coast. The other projects that this one is collaborating with the NGO Ocean Cleanup from Netherlands together with the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources and Chulalongkorn University. We also will use different technology to help to monitoring the plastic waste, not just only in the ocean, but also in the river itself, because, well, majority of the waste that end up into the ocean is not just only from the coastal zone, but also from the river. So in this project, we will be more focused on the river. So there are three focus area. One is to quantify the source or dumping sites of microplastic that emission to the Chao Phraya River, which Chao Phraya River is the biggest river in Thailand. And the second, these projects use the GPS tracking to see that once those waste end up into the river, how they move and how long does it take for them to be actually end up into the oceans. And part three, this will focus on the marine plastic flux along the water surface of Chao Phraya River to measure how much of the marine plastic waste in the river float along the Chao Phraya River per day, per hours, or per week, for example. So this is the example of the technique that we're going to use in these projects is that, well, the drone will be applied to a survey and calculate the amount of the point source, which is the dumping sites along the Chao Phraya River, so that we could have more accurate number of the point source of the waste. Okay, and then this is also another technique that I just mentioned. We will use the GPS tracker to investigate the pathway of the microplastic debris along the Chao Phraya River. So we plan to put more than 100 GPS tracker along this river. And the other technologies that we're gonna use is we will use the camera, okay, and put onto the different bridge along the Chao Phraya River, and this camera hopefully will detect all the plastic waste that flows in the river and pass through the bridge, so that we can be able to monitor the the plastic waste that flows along the river that pass through different bridge by using this camera device. The other projects that I would like to share with you that we now are having is this project actually is funded by the National Environment Research Council of UK. And I know that a couple universities in Malaysia also involved in this project too. And this project, actually the leader from the University of Exeter, Professor Brandon's, and in Singapore, in Southeast Asia, National University of Singapore is the leader, led by Professor Suresh. You can see that for this project, it's not just only have Thailand, have UK, Singapore, but also have Malaysia and Philippines that involved in these projects. So, and these projects will have three groups that work in different focus in order to be able to give us overall the big picture, what really happened, not just only in each country, but also as a whole in Southeast Asia. So the first one, the package one, this project will look at detect degraded and translocations of the marine plastic waste. So in different countries, we will choose a pilot sites to see whether how the, for example, how the plastic waste have been degraded and transfer or move from one area to another area. So actually, for this work package one, we also will use the GPS tracker, but in terms of GPS system will be different than the earlier projects that I just mentioned. For the part two in these projects, well, we will look more in terms of how microplastic, end up into the food chain and how these microplastic once end up into the food chain, how it can have impact to not just only the fish, the shrimps, or other crustacean, but the possibility that how this could affect to the human health. And work package 3, we will get more into the next step is that from over data, how this can send the message to the policy maker. So from policy to the practice, because we just don't want to get the data only, but hopefully this data can be applied for the further action plan. That is very important goal. So welcome back to Thailand. I would like to share with you a little bit. Thailand have tried to, create the roadmap for the plastic waste management since 2018, and we're gonna carry until 2030. So the goal actually, they said is that first, the main point is that to reduce the single-use plastic and replace with environmental friendly products. And the second is that to have the plastic waste into the circular economies. And you could see that Thailand have been doing very good in terms of trying to, stop the single-use plastic. First, the capsules on the plastic water bottle, we no longer use it. We already this year stopped using the styrofoam, and in the next 3 years, hope the single-use plastic cup will be no longer used. And we also try to, promote the biocircular green economy or BCGs, include the circular economy, green economy, and bioeconomies. Well, and as a Southeast Asia region, as we all know, we try to work together. We have this Asian Regional Action Plan for combating marine debris in the Asian member state. So hopefully, once the governments, have been aware of this, so not just only scientists that, we have to do alone, but if we can be able to cooperate with the policymaker, and hopefully, we can solve the problem of this marine plastic waste that happen right now in our regions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very
Professor
much,
Apple.
Professor Apple. As stated by Professor Apple just now, we cannot be alone in fighting the plastic waste. Hopefully, let us all work together not to be the plastic gang anymore for the sake of our lovely Mother Earth. What an impressive speech, Professor Apple. Thank you again for joining us with OPEC 2022. And also, condolences from us. We all would like to express our condolences for the loss of your loved ones, Professor Apple. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.